it's a different type of demand. With the astrology and something like Tai Chi, Qigong, that's a nice combination. And she could, for a senior, that's something you could live with and be highly active, and it's something that keeps you young until you're really old. You don't get really old with Tai Chi, you get younger. And so I'm thinking that from her natal chart. I'm seeing the transits move a certain way, but it's not what she set up. It's so different from how she set up. But she's been working on the astrology through this time. How much it takes, I don't know. Okay, so that's transits to natal. The puzzle was there. I filled in the gaps a little bit. When I came to these decisions, they didn't come so quickly. They came more thinking over time and spending hours on it and wondering about what's happening. But here it is. Okay. Now we got the 8-year graph to do to get the main sense of the transits, the bigger transits. 4 years back, 4 years forward, but we did this for 2018 for the transit class, so it's really, now we're down in 2019, so it's 5 years back and 3 years forward, but still basically you can use these. So I feel it's a great privilege for me to be at this level teaching, because this is work that you're doing all the time, but rarely do you have company that can talk to it. Not many people get to this level where you can talk to them and you're talking and it means something to someone else. And it's a delight to be able to present these things and try a challenge to integrate them and explain how you're doing it. It needs good company to do that. So thank you for being part of the good company. Okay, we start with Pluto. 2015, 2016, 2017, no big deal. Okay, now, I just want to look back 1 second here. Saturn return was 2017, 2018. Okay, what? No. I don't have it marked right here. What's wrong with this? Saturn squared the moon. Okay, when I was doing these, I don't know what happened, but I left out the Saturn conjunct, the Saturn return is in here just before the Saturn to the moon, so 2017, 2018, where it squares the midheaven. That's exactly the same time. Went through once, so it squared the midheaven. I forgot to put it in here, the Saturn to midheaven. So when you're working with it, you'll see if a mistake's made. So if I were, what do I do here? Let's just see if I can fix this. Why can't this is not in okay, we'll just leave it like this. Okay. Oh wait. Highlight area. Just mark it here. So we have a little mark of this. So I know there's another thing here. Okay, so it's just, we know it's there. It's just not, that's the square to Saturn. Okay. So just as the Saturn return came in, 2018, Saturn's opposing the ascendant, Pluto's opposing the ascendant. That's an identity crisis. I believe she had to retire. What am I going to do? And the confrontation came out. This is just before this, she started studying astrology to have something to do, something else that's there. And the confrontation came in. Can I deal with it? And this has been going on. It's going on even now to the end of this year. Till the classes are finished. Where am I going? But there's a power struggling between what she's done before, which is challenging her identity and is challenging her relationship. She's certainly in partnership. Either she's with her partner, but doesn't want to be smothered, but they have different agendas, or she's not with a partner, doesn't want to be alone. I think she's probably with a partner and has her world set up, but the agenda that he thinks would be okay for him is not where she wants to just settle. She's not ready to settle. So there's some struggle going on here around identity crises, and through relationships, through the 7th house. Everyone she's used to relating to, she's not necessarily ready to give away power, just suddenly not have all the power and accomplishment she did. But it's changing. Then once you get past this year, another couple months, she comes out of this Pluto. She comes out of that intent, and the pressure lifts. Oh my goodness. Well, this whole time period, Pluto opposing your ascendant, and you've lived in a business world, in a practical business world, family, took care of everything. Suddenly having to take care of yourself, that's a challenge. And taking the astrology is like a therapy. What it really was for me, I think it is for most of our students. It's like you're going through this personal therapy, and here's this really tough reassessment going on, what's true, what's not. So astrology would have been there as part of the catalyst, saying what's real, what's not, reminding that this is going on. What am I dealing with this? Here's the time I got to put myself through. I got to test this. There's no simple way here. So it's a reality check on relationships, on identity in relationships. What am I doing? Where am I going? But Pluto forces you in the moment because it brings up fears and confidence. And I got to deal. Oh, geez, now it's this. Who am I? And sometimes Pluto on the ascendant, hitting the angles, opposing the ascendant, can affect the health or how much one can do. But mostly, I think it's an issue of affecting how much I can do and not being able to maintain as much as I used to be doing. Okay, it's like, okay, and then there's no more Pluto, like it's just about to lift. So that's a good thing, but she's still in the middle, in the thick of it right now. When we get to the 2-year graph, we'll see the 2-year transits, we'll see these exact dates when these hit, but really, you can't just rely on the exact dates because it's really the whole degree before, well, it's within a degree. It's totally there. So this is a really challenging point of what's real, what's true. It's like a shit or get off the pot aspect, excuse my expression. It's reality check. That's time. I mean, I'm old enough to be retired. How could a kid like me feel like she's going to see herself as young? Suddenly, whoa, what's next? It's almost like falling off a cliff, not having a job, and it's challenging the identity. Who do I align with? Who do I meet? Where do I meet? If it's just a husband, the husband going to take a, it's going to be a challenge. You can't live inside just that and just go back and sit down with her. She's got to have something to do, something to get into. So to me, the Pluto aspect going on while she's studying, that's rocket fuel. That as you're going through the intensities and you're learning about what's happening in your life, that really makes a glue that makes astrology insights become quite incredibly valid. It just shows you, so make it yours. After this, she can deal with anyone going through an identity crisis, especially a senior identity crisis. Whoa. What's the meditation for Pluto? 2 words. So what? Yeah, but is it? Oh, just, well, so what? Well, what I got? And you end up with necessity, having to make some necessity decisions. Okay. So that's the Pluto. Then we look at the Neptune, and you start to see Neptune in 2016 and 2017. Neptune going through Pisces was opposing the Venus. This is the great confusion. How can I? What am I going to do? I'm not working. I'm not making the same money. Where am I going to go? What will I do? What are my values? So she was really confused and lost in 2016, 17. This is probably about the time that she first came in to see me. And that Neptune was confused. She couldn't see clearly. And she's seeing the things changes, but what am I doing? Like, if she invested everything she had, she would have been gullible to try and do this. Like, she could have made a lot of wrong choices during this. So trying to not waste the money or lose the money or lose this stuff, but it's changing her priorities of what she wants. And there were temptations, things that she never thought about or didn't want. It was confusing personally. Who am I? All the things I was working hard to do to get, now it's past, the time's past, now what do I want? So the puzzle, what do I want? How am I going to, this emotional problem. For her, an emotional problem would affect the emotions. For everybody, when you have emotional challenges, it affects the way you think. And then your thinking gets distorted by trying to, which options do I take? And it clouds what you're putting out. So, this is really puzzling the whole system through 2016, 2017. Leading to this confrontation in 2018, 2020, that's not, I can't just follow that. I can't be that spaced out. I can't be that confused. I can't be that sad. No, the head's got to roll. Something's got to change. I've got to find something to do, something to get into, something to prove. I can't rely on just what I had. It's not there. And that it's coming from the 9th house to the 3rd house. That Neptune is in the 9th house of principles and right understanding, and the understanding of where I fit in the world, what I'm doing, who I'm aligned with. It's different than what I thought, different than what I wanted. So it's not that she wanted it. She's been going through this confusion for a couple of years. Suddenly she's having to deal with it, and there's this challenges coming up right on. Like, so she had the confusion. Now she has the confrontation now, but she's almost through these two things. And as you look forward, the confusion lifted in 2018. She started studying the astrology in 2017, and by 2018 it's going smoothly, and there's not the confusion coming back again. So she's not as lost about what she wanted with the Neptune. This is why when I use these 8-year graphs, I really do just put the planets to the angles, the outer planets to the angles, and to the personal planets: Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Sun. Because I don't usually put Jupiter or Saturn in, because it's enough to see the real personal things dramatically played out here. The other things can be taken care of when we look at the 2-year transit printout. But this really gives you the overview, and you see what the person's going through. And you see it's lifting now. 2019, there's not the confusion. There's no longer the confusion. Decisions have been made with the Pluto on the ascendant. However forced, however harshly, they've been made. They're just about made now. Both are clearing up. There's no more Pluto or Neptune. These are not problems. It's just like, these are make it or break it things. She's done it. She's got past the confusion. She's been working through making the new world real. And I guess that puts me as a mentor or challenger, challenging her, and who knows who else has been there doing that. Okay, so maybe she's into astrology. Maybe her husband thinks it's the work of the devil. I don't know. It could be something around career and going back to work, or trying to find things and having to accept something less, or something like that. Okay. So when you're working with chart, you see it could be this, it could be that. Like, it's raining out. What am I going to do? It's not, oh, gee, it's raining. Nothing can be done. You still can choose what you're going to do. Still can go out and there's still plans. So in any aspect, there's still things you're dealing with and how you're dealing. You're just seeing the intensity and the pressure going on and the nerves that are backing up that person's circumstance in time. This is called developing a time perspective of how someone got to where they are now. What's a nice person like you coming to a place like this? How would a person like you, who knows everything, is doing everything, come to see an astrologer in the first place? Second opinion, another perspective.